Welcome to the award-winning Thrustcast with Robb and Cochran. Episode 83, Ocean Bombs.
Your husband's having a moment.
My husband is reacting like he does about everything.
That's life, man.
This is life.
Yeah.
You know what else is life?
What's life, man? What is life?
Can we talk about what life is?
Yeah, this could be a long podcast.
I mean, forever is not
or
too
very
long,
short.
right?
Very short. Life is, the good stuff. This has been the award-winning Thrustcast.
That's how we tie the bow on it.
Yeah.
Life is about the good stuff. All right, see ya. Life is. Can we delve into a conspiracy theory here real quick?
Okay.
Life is about conspiracy theories. Now, life is about when you have a car and you finally pay it off.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, it doesn't start. So we also have a Nissan and we just paid it off. It's a 2015, right? We go out to start it to go somewhere yesterday. Won't start.
No.
Now, essentially, we're driving a computer, right?
Yeah.
It's just all computer.
It's an iPhone with tires.
Exactly. And, I don't know if you have heard people say, when, as soon as your iPhone's paid off or your phone's paid off, it starts to, fizzle out and malfunction. And same goes with cars, right?
Yeah.
So I just picture someone at, the Nissan dealership or factory just presses the button as soon as, our final card payment goes through, then just things slowly start to deteriorate.
Do you really think it's a person?
Rapidly.
You think it's a person pushing a button, not just some AI software taking care of it?
I would think that if the technology were there to, break down these cars via computer, that, it could also be done by computer, not by a person. But I like to think that they're still hiring people to do that.
Don't you think this is further proof of the simulation?
Absolutely, it is. Yes, absolutely.
It might be.
I mean, yeah, on the prison planet, my Nissan Murano is still running.
It's ubiquitous police. It's forced labor, but my fucking Nissan mini SUV still runs.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I got to work.
Computers.
I got to work 17 hours a day to pay it off, but whatever. At least it works.
At least it's paid off.
Hey, I just read this book about L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh yeah?
It's called A Piece. What is it? A Piece of Blue Sky. Which is weird. I thought if, just by the title you would think it was what would you say kind of book you would think that was?
Sounds uplifting and promising and fulfilling and it feels like a
I was thinking Christian,
feel good,
either a Christian a Christian self-help book or a soft, very soft romance novel, not like the hardcore sexy stuff, like a softcore romance novel.
Yeah.
Piece of Blue Sky, like non-threatening romance novel.
I could see that.
He looks like Fabio, but he uses feathers.
Ticklers.
But this is a book about L. Ron Hubbard. It's 1990, so it's right after he died. I think
nothing romantic about that.
I think L. Ron Hubbard died in 80. Do you recall 86 to 88, somewhere in that area?
Yeah, I want to say it was late 80s.
I figured you would know that because you're such a huge fan.
88. I'm going 88. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But, I mean, L. Ron Hubbard is famous for telling his, followers in the Scientology lore, he was like this war hero.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is pretty funny because he's pretty lame. But he was in the Navy. He did have one, I guess you would call it a battle during World War II. He got command of a ship.
Okay.
Which is kind of staggering to me that they let him be in charge of a boat.
Short-staffed. They had to have been short-staffed that
It was
weekend.
World War II, yeah.
Yeah, people are, kind of busy, dying,
So 43, they gave him command of a boat. And he was stationed in Oregon. They get out 10, 12 miles offshore. They're on their way to San Diego. They're just doing like some routine, like up and down the coast, like make sure that we're not getting bombed by the Japanese or whatever.
Right.
So they're going out. Trip has just started. They're 10, 12 miles offshore off of Oregon. And Elron claims that they detect a submarine out there. Right? And he's got what do they call him? Executive officer.
Yeah.
Which is the second in command. And this guy must have been just completely like wiped clean by Elron. Like he disagreed with everything Elron said, like the whole report, everything. Like, oh yeah, this happened. So they think that they see a submarine, or Elron claims that they did. So they start going back and forth and like dropping depth charges, trying to blow this thing out of the water.
They don't really know it's a submarine yet, right? This isn't confirmed. They're just throwing depth charges into the water.
I'm not sure how to answer that, because Elron and his executive officer, they're like, yeah, we found a submarine, right? And they said they detected the submarine. So they're dropping depth charges, and I guess they saw something in the water, like far away. And Elron's like, we got to fire on it. So they started firing their guns. And this is not a submarine. This was like on the water. So they start firing their guns, and they later figured out it was probably driftwood that they were firing on. But apparently the submarine's still down there, right? So they call in some backup. They call in some anti-sub blimps, they call them.
Okay.
Which I guess was a tactic used in the war, blimp technology.
Yeah. Blimps were big in WW2.
I mean, that was kind of the golden age of blimps, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like most of the blimps were over in Europe.
Yeah.
Not off the coast of Oregon.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, the land of the airship. So these blimps come out, and they're looking, and I guess they have some sort of technology, sonar, that they're radar, whatever, looking down in the ocean. They don't see anything. So L. Ron Hubbard has used all his depth charges, so he's like calling in for more backup. He's like, you got to send me more charges. You got to send some more ships. Another ship comes by, but this ship doesn't detect anything either. Just like the blimps did. They haven't found a submarine. There's no like distress signal. There's no debris in the water or anything.
Right.
So they're like, all right, this sub must be like just hanging out somewhere. More depth charges are finally delivered to L. Ron Hubbard. So he starts like going back and forth and just dropping these fucking ocean bombs, just trying to blow this submarine out. Meanwhile, nobody else has found this submarine. And then two more ships come out. And I guess they're bigger ships. They have the proper radar, and they're looking for the submarine. They can't find it. And L. Ron's like, you got to drop your depth charges. You got to blow this. They're like, we're not doing that. We can't. There's nothing out here. And he later wrote in his report that he thinks that the two captains of those ships were just like, they were afraid to damage their ships, and so they didn't want to drop any bombs.
What?
So he's basically calling them cowards. They're afraid to drop bombs on the Japanese. So he's still out there. This is going on for a couple of days. Like the whole battle ended up being...
Couple of days?
This ended up being 55 hours it went on.
Battle with what?
With driftwood. We don't. Nobody knows. So a big ship comes out, like a battleship or something comes out, and they're gonna
Keystone Cops on the water.
They're gonna like, all right, where this ship is here, we're gonna blow this fucking thing out of the water when we find it. So Elron's still out there. He's like in command of the area. This because he's the guy that found it, and then you know how he was, right? Like he probably was just jizzing his pants over the fact that he got to be like a commander of a couple of ships. Like he was like in charge of the battle of L. Ron Hubbard. So. Yeah.
He's like, in his mind, he's crossing to Delaware right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, there will be oil paintings about this battle in his stupid ass mind.
There probably are. He probably had Scientologists.
He probably had them.
Those paintings.
Yeah. He
So,
probably had some artist commissioned to do this.
So he's in charge of this battle, and so this big ship comes out, and it's shooting its radar down, and it can't find anything, right? And it's just like we don't see anything. Like we're not dropping our bombs either. We're not doing this.
Yeah, and makes sense.
So this goes on for a couple of days, and eventually he was ordered to come back, and there was never any evidence of any submarine. And nobody saw it. Like the blimps didn't see anything. The 4 other ships that came out in that area never saw anything. But everybody who was on that boat with L. Ron Hubbard was like, there was a submarine down there. Like we fucking saw it. So like who knows? Like he was, brainwashing, mind washing people back then even, I guess. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
He did.
I mean,
they let him take the boat out one more time for some dumb reason. So I guess they looked over his report and they're like, all right, well, we're in the middle of a war. I guess it's okay that he was doing this.
Right. Yeah. You're like a little heightened senses,
yeah. If there really was a Japanese submarine down there, you don't want to take any chances, I guess, or it's okay to go overboard. So I guess they let him take the boat out one more time, and that was the story of when he started firing on a Mexican island, just some random unoccupied island in Mexico, and then they were like, "Dude, you're not in charge of boats anymore."
Yeah,
so he was
out there.
Yeah, he was gonna get in trouble for that, but then he basically pretended to be sick for a couple of months, so he could get out of it.
Oh my gosh.
So that's his storied career as a seaboat captain or commander.
Wow.
Or whatever he was.
Yeah. What a storied military career. It goes down in the annals of, military history. I can't believe it went on for that long,
Well, if there's a sub down there, you got to get it, and there are tactics where submarines can avoid being detected. And of course, these people who are listening to L. Ron Hubbard, they don't know his future history of being a con man. They don't know that he. They think he's just a weird, slightly incompetent dude. They don't realize that he's going to be one of the greatest con men of all time.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a very good point.
So looking back, it's easy for us to go he made this whole thing up. It's pure bullshit. But
idiot.
They were like, well, maybe there was a Japanese sub down there. So
it's interesting that everyone on the ship was convinced, on the Elrond ship was convinced that there was a sub. I wonder if I think Elrond's stint in the Navy kind of laid the groundwork for how he ran Scientology, as far as you were getting on brainwashing them.
His whole life was that.
It's just firing on driftwood and dropping depth charges for days. What off the coast of Oregon, for crying out loud? This is insane. But to his defense, which sounds awful to say, but World War II, heightened sense of, I don't know, danger, invasion, all that kind of bullshit. So,
you think that he thought there was a submarine down there?
He definitely thought there was a submarine.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of delusional. He saw a submarine down there because he wanted to be a hero.
Exactly. He already in his head wrote his heroic, story, right? And he had to live that out at any cost.
So do you think that Elrond believed the Scientology story?
I think he originally, no, but I think he kind of convinced himself. You know how people who lie for no reason, pathological liars, kind of convince themselves of their own lies. I think eventually he started to believe his own bullshit.
Or do you think that he really had a messiah complex? Did he really So you don't think he like bought his own bullshit? I think he might have.
Over time, I think he did. Yeah. Originally, I think he just
like. I think he would look back at this so-called battle, and he, in his mind, probably right after it happened, he was a hero. He fought off this Japanese submarine who was coming to blow up Seattle. He did see that submarine down there, right?
He did. Yeah, he did. No one else did. No depth charges found. Can you really call it a battle? Like
that's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's what they call it. I don't know if I'm not sure what
battle.
I'm not sure what constitutes a battle. This probably doesn't, but I'm calling it a battle.
Two sides. I think two sides. Come
on. There was the bombs and there was the water. You know, two sides.
One side. Can you imagine if like the Japanese really were like watching from afar, being like, "Look at this guy on that ship.
We have nothing to worry about.
This is who they have in charge. We're good."
Him in charge, yeah, but they put him in charge of the ship that's guarding the Oregon coast.
Oregon coast during WW2,
which I guess was vulnerable. Mike Rinder says that he thinks or he says that L. Ron Hubbard believed it, and that Miscavige believes it too.
See, Miscavige is the one where, like, all right, I could buy into L. Ron believing it because he basically created it. Miscavige believing it to the degree that he would have to. I think Miscavige is more of a opportunist.
Yeah.
Rather than like a true believer, like I think he saw how powerful and how successful religion could be and like went that route. But like, again, they're both delusional.
Right.
I don't know, megalomaniacs.
I think Miscavige was raised in it, I think
he was, if I remember correctly.
So like, if you grow up believing it, why would you stop believing it when it gives you everything you've ever wanted? He's, in his world, he can get anything he wants whenever he wants. He's like him and Tom Cruise are basically the same person.
Yeah. And
so why would him or Tom Cruise ever go like, whoa, Scientology can't be real when it's done exactly for them, exactly what it said it was going to do?
It's true. It's true. I mean, if they've become that successful based off of what the bullshit they shovel, then they probably believe that bullshit,
Probably. That's what I think.
I don't think you're right. Like both those guys for sure. Like don't go home and they're like suckers. No, they go home and they're like, oh yeah, this is really what I believe. Look at my mansion. Yeah.
I mean, they universally, when people who get out universally say, I thought I was saving the universe. Literally, correct usage of the word, saving the universe. So if you actually
not
believe
just the
that,
world, the universe.
The universe. So like, if you actually believe that, and it, you know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking crazy thing to believe. But like, the people who are in it were like, yeah, I thought that that's what we were doing. Even when they see some of the bullshit that like the so-called church is doing, they're like, oh yeah, but that's okay because we're saving the universe.
Right.
Even though they don't see it and say like, oh, this is proof it's all horse shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to crack some eggs along the way, right?
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about. Can we talk about another wacko? I think L. Ron's a wacko. So I came across another wacko recently.
There's a lot of wackos out there, man.
Plenty of wackos. You're familiar with Kellogg's cereal, right? Kellogg cereal.
Oh yeah.
Brand. Yeah.
Cornflakes, right? Is that Kellogg's or is that
Cornflakes? I would say would be like the flagship traditional cereal of Kellogg, and Cornflakes specifically has a interesting, if not dark, beginning.
Okay, I think I know some of this history.
I mean, I just came across this, so like I have to delve into like the history a little bit more. But was doing some reading the other day, and so John Harvey Kellogg was a doctor and a Seventh-day Adventist, which, by the way, is a weird religion because they think Saturday is the 7th day of the week, which is bonkers to begin with. You know, who
That's
has
nuts.
a calendar where Saturday is the 7th day? That's just weird.
Some people try to make the argument that that's how it goes.
I don't buy it. I don't get it. It's not how a calendar should go. Weekly calendar.
Sunday
anyway.
can't be the first day of the week because it's part of the weekend, right?
Exact weekend.
You can't,
End is the
can't
key
be
word.
both. Yeah, Monday is the first day of the week. This is easy.
Thank you. It's common sense. It's weird that you think Saturday would be day 7.
There are still calendars that have it the other way.
Weird.
Yeah.
Craziness. So if you're starting there, you know, imagine where else you go.
Are they vegetarians?
Very much so.
Okay.
So that's so the Seventh-day Adventists believe in holistic approach to religion, vegetarianism, hydrotherapy, all kinds of, you know, holistic approach to you know, body healing and being one with, like, whatever. So anyway, this doctor, John Harvey Kellogg, was big into trying to implement circumcision as a method to cure a bunch of different ailments.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like it was going to cure stuff?
Yes. So
is it his fault that everyone gets circumcised? Is that what you're saying?
he was a big advocate for it, a huge advocate for it. And he went as far to say that, like, all right, so circumcision was like meant to decrease the libido of the male so they wouldn't masturbate. But in order to, like, even, like, make circumcision more out there and widespread, he tested it to curing indigestion, syphilis, a laundry list of things that, like, are like, man, crazy to think that, like, cutting your foreskin off would, like, cure. You know what I mean?
But it also means that he was obsessed with cutting the foreskin off of babies. Right.
And back in those days, like early 19th century kind of shit, like, they didn't have local anesthesia to do this either. So, again, it wasn't even just babies. Like, they were doing it to, like, teenage boys who were, like, just jerking off left and right because it's, like, what they do, you know?
Like, so, get over here. We're going to cut off part of that dick.
Cutting off your dick because you're jerking off too much. But, hey, your indigestion will go away, too. It was crazy. It's crazy. So,
Wait. When was this? Was like the 1800s?
He was born in, like, he died in 1943. He was born in,
so this is early 1900s then, probably?
Yeah, early 1900s. But, yeah, he was born in late 1869 or something like that. But, so he invents fucking cornflakes, right? Well, actually, like,
so he was cutting off boys' dicks, and then he invents cornflakes, right? Anyway, next part of the story.
Well, so it's kind of.
If it really is that simple, then we can. I get it. The foreskin is the cornflakes. I got it.
I'm actually not clear, like in the history here, if, like, one of his relatives actually invented cornflakes, and he took cornflakes and put it as a cereal that it was supposed to be an anti-aphrodisiac,
right,
to, like, help suppress the libido in males. And that's how, like, they early advertised fucking cornflakes, was to, like, eat your cornflakes
so you don't get a boner,
so you don't commit sins and you won't bonerize things and jerk off.
I can't believe the audacity of this guy, where he's like, all right, well, I'm obsessed with little boys' dicks, so I think we should all cut parts of them off, and it cures everything. This thing that I decide that I'm obsessed with cures all these diseases, and also this cereal that my fucking cousin invented also cures everything, and it makes you not want to masturbate. So it's all it's all good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and he claims he had, like, a 73% success rate of, like
not masturbating.
Chronicling every
73% of the time we're not masturbating.
It sounds like a boring day. All right, whatever.
Oh my God.
Can't jerk. Maybe his thinking was like you can't jerk off and eat cold cereal at the same time, right?
Hey, my sister owns a Chevrolet dealership down the road, and it turns out owning a Chevrolet cures cancer, and it keeps you from masturbating. They're very, very unsexy cars. The Chevrolet no boner guarantee.
No boner guaranteed. Yeah, man, it's insane. This guy. I mean, a doctor, I guess. I think it was easier to become a doctor back in those days, though.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like an extra 3 weeks of school.
It's
like if you quit after the first week and a half, you got to become a veterinarian. And if you stayed for the last week and a half, you got to practice medicine on humans.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you can drill into a human skull to get the witches out. Good.
That's how we do it.
Doctor.
Yeah. Not like those people that use leeches.
Amateurs. They call those people amateurs.
Those people those were the Neanderthal days of medicine. Today we cut off pieces of dicks. That's how we do it. And we eat cornflakes.
And eat cornflakes to, check your boner.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I love cornflakes. I like all the old classics, Rice Krispies, cornflakes.
Yeah, I've recently gotten back into cold cereal because of my daughter. And, I think the classics hold true. I think that's where, that's where my bread and butter is when it comes to cold cereals. Kix. I'm a big fan of Kix.
Oh, wow. I forgot about Kix. I should look into those.
But
I'm going to check out some Kix.
I'm going to go out and buy a box of cornflakes and try to get a boner. I mean, not in the store while I'm buying the cornflakes.
Yeah, because in that situation, you don't have to try. I mean, when you're buying, cornflakes in a grocery store, that boner is just going to happen.
Okay.
You can't stop that from happening. But
first, I'm going to go out. First, I'm going to go out and buy a pair of track pants, and then I'm going to wear those track pants to the store.
Everybody else is wearing sweatpants, man. Imagine all the people out there wearing sweatpants. Imagine how many boners are going to be popping out. Everyone's going to be like, why do I see so many boners? It's like, well, because everyone's wearing sweatpants now. That's what we all signed up for. It's Boner City.
Here we go down the cold cereal aisle. It's just like an LA Fitness for dicks. Oh my goodness.
That's why I like those honeycombs.
Honeycombs.
They still make that one?
I'll check it out next time.
So you getting that vaccine, Cochran? When you're allowed to?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our demographic, our age range, our everything, they're just going to be like, whatever, you know?
I'll go last.
We'll get around to you.
I'll go last. Yeah, whatever. Let everyone else get it first. That's fine. I don't know. I think I might be. Now this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I think maybe I won't get the vaccine. Maybe I'm just going to be team virus from now on. I think it's. That's the team I'm on. I'm kind of rooting for it. Right now it's not doing so good, but
the virus.
Yeah, but I've always liked the underdog. I don't know.
Virus.
I say keep the schools closed, right? Who needs them?
I agree with that.
They're just they're excellent daycare centers, right?
That's essentially all that this boiled down to. You know what I mean? Like all the parents are in an uproar for schools to open.
Right.
It's not about the education that your kid's getting.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you don't have to take care of them during the day.
Yeah, that became obvious pretty quick, right?
Very quickly.
Where everyone's
really?
oh shit, like someone else isn't going to do this? Then now what?
I have to teach. I have to be a parent. I have to what? It's your job.
But I don't know. Whatever. Keep them closed. They're not doing me any good.
Schools can close.
Let's get closed and keep them closed. Who needs them?
No one.
You know what? We're also like, the virus also is able to like thin out the restaurant herd just a little bit, maybe. Like, you know, we're going to close down thousands of restaurants around the country, but you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. We had too many. Too many restaurants. Too many good restaurants.
You don't like options when going out to eat?
I think there's too many options. I think I'm kind of over the whole like trendy restaurant. You know what I mean? It's about the followers. It's about the attention. It's not about food.
I kind of get what you're saying.
Let's close some of these places down. Quit being a gimmick. Quit being cool and trendy, and just be a restaurant.
Just serve me a good plate of stuff. You know, plop it down. Greasy spoon stuff, right? You want greasy spoon stuff?
I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm still up for like different kinds of food and different qualities and stuff. But like, it doesn't need to be a fucking social media arms race. Just be a fucking let's go back to being restaurants.
I preach, brother, because I would love that. I do think it's more about like the hey, look at me than it is about the actual product. For sure. That's pretty much true of everything, but it seems like for restaurants, like that's food. You have to eat. Gotta eat.
You know, but there's too many places.
To fight the virus.
Yeah, there's too many places who are like trying to be that place. And that goes for every level of it, you know. I'm talking even down to like burrito places and stuff. Like too many of those places. Anyway, college. I think the virus like blew up the idea of college as this thing that you like need to go live at and pay $50,000 a year for.
Not a bad thing. I mean, all right, we're looking at the positives here. All right, I like it.
I'm just saying, I like the underdog. I want to like look on the bright side of the virus.
That's a good take. I felt obligated that I had to go to college and live in a room with another stranger, right? For 4 years. It's just weird. Yeah. You don't have to go. You don't have to do that.
And it's way more expensive now, too.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I'm sure. Like, you don't know. You went to college last century.
Well, yeah, I did.
Another
back when
thing.
It was cheap.
It wasn't even cheap back then, but it's gone up like so much, and it wasn't cheap. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I think people are
not the only option. There are options out there.
Yeah, or you can go to Harvard on your fucking laptop. Like, why do people need to pay $70,000 a year to go there?
To a building.
But like, it's like, you know what also happened is a lot of these college kids had to like stay at their parents' house and go to school over their laptops and stuff. Yeah. And I think a lot of parents will probably like, oh, this is all you're learning? Like, this isn't even that impressive. Like, why am I paying all this money?
Right.
Dude, you could be able to learn that shit for free online within a couple of years anyway, right? Or at least for much lower cost.
Just look it up. Google it.
Google it. Well, I mean, there is something to be said for learning things, but you don't. This idea of college is going to keep getting more expensive, and you got to go live there and spend an extra $70,000 on whatever. Like, no, I think in 10 years we're going to look back and be like, okay, yeah, like that was dumb.
That was dumb. All right, I like it. College is abolished.
Well, you know.
Higher education out. I'm in. All right. So
I don't know.
Also,
go ahead.
No. All right. What else? What's next? Like,
I don't know what state. I don't know what state the cruise ship industry is in. But like, this is our chance to just get rid of it, right? Like, if anyone ever takes a cruise ever again, which I'm sure there are people doing it right now, what are we doing? Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
I have not.
I actually haven't either. They look gross.
So I've heard stories I think we all remember the story of like the cruise ship that like lost power or like was stranded out at sea.
That's like 5 per year.
But like, what happened on the one where like people like Did you hear the story about the one where like people were shitting? Like there was no like.
I do. Yeah. Every time something like that happens, people are like shitting in buckets and then throwing it overboard and stuff. Like every time that happens, like every 6 months, and like people are like, "Oh, this is it for the cruise industry," and like people still go on these fucking cruises. I don't get it. It just seems so unappealing.
I know at least 2 people who had like not that nightmarish, but like definitely inconvenienced trips on cruises.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I am a fan of boats in the water, but not for a long period of time. I don't need to live on a boat for a month. I don't need to do that.
No, I don't need to sleep on a boat. I'll go on a boat trip. I'll go on a boat ride. And people
Go on a boat ride.
People will be like, yeah, well, it stops here and it stops there, and we go to whatever. It's like, just go to those places. Just take an airplane like everybody else.
It's like a lot of work though, too. Like, because like, I mean, I hate the scheduled vacation. So like, so the boat docks in like wherever in the Caribbean at 8 p.m. and you have until 11 to get back, right? That's a lot of pressure. And you only have 3 hours to go out and see like that territory. Doesn't sound appealing to me.
And I probably am not this guy anymore, but there were times in my life when like there might have been a chance I missed that boat.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if you've driven around and tried to go places recently, but you know what? Something else the virus has done is there's not nearly as much traffic as there used to be. There's always parking. No matter where you go, there's parking. There never used to be parking here. Now there's parking. You go into downtown,
park anywhere,
uptown. There's parking.
Everything's closed. You can park anywhere you want.
Yeah, not everything's closed. Lots of stuff. People just aren't out doing. People aren't going to work. You know, people are working from home.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. No, I don't. When I have been out, I have noticed like less traffic. So yeah, that's a convenience for sure.
It's always a convenience.
Right. That's a plus.
Maybe my favorite thing that the virus did is it brought back the Flowbee into prominence. Did you follow this?
I forget.
Hey, Charlie.
I want to say it was George Clooney, right?
It was George Clooney. He went on some talk show.
Right. Yeah, it was George Clooney.
The talk show host was like, "So what are you doing with your hair?" or something like, I don't know. I didn't really follow it that closely. But Clundog was like, well, I used the Flowbee, and apparently he was being serious. He knew how to use it. He was like, he's like, I've been using it for years. Now, do you think he's been using it for years, like on a regular basis? Do you think he cuts his own hair?
I would think not. I think that he probably has some sort of, maybe not personal stylist, but like he does enough movies where there are makeup and stylists on set that will probably take care of his hair. But if he was on camera and knew how to operate a Flowbee, that tells you something though, right?
Like you'd think he's the guy with the stylist, but he also might be the kind of guy that is like, I don't want to get my hair cut all the time. I can take care of this. I'm that kind of guy. Like I obviously have a little bit less clout than the Clundog, but you know, I'm also just like I would much rather just like take some clippers and cut my own hair every couple of months and be like, cool, I got it. So I mean, maybe he is the kind of guy that was like, you know what, whatever. I can take 5 minutes. The thing about the Flowbee that gets me though, and I don't know if the Clundog is this kind of guy. You got to hook it up to a vacuum cleaner, right? Like who wants to have a vacuum cleaner? Like, does he have a vacuum cleaner like in his bedroom that he's like, this is my Flowbee vacuum cleaner? And like every 6 months he's got to dump out his hair.
It's my hair cutter. Yeah,
like if it was just a thing that you just like did, I would get it. But like, you got to hook up a vacuum cleaner? Do you think he's like George Clooney's like going down to the broom closet, getting his vacuum cleaner out and carrying it upstairs to his bathroom every month. And
that's wild to think about. And I kind of like to think that he is, because he seems like he could be the everyday guy, you know? Like,
I think he's got a little bit in him, but I don't know.
I think he had, like, I mean, obviously he was brought up in show business because of his aunt and blah, blah, blah. But he seems like he came from, like, he seems kind of humbled as a guy, you know?
Yeah.
I
buy it.
He's
a billionaire doing coffee commercials, but you know,
he's a billionaire. Yeah. I can't remember the last movie I saw him in because he doesn't have to do shit. But do you also think it was just like just a fun, like, little project for him? Because imagine if you have that much clout and you invest that morning, like, I don't know, let's say $500,000 because it's like $10 to you into Flowbee stock. And then later on that day, you're like on The View and you're like, well, oh, this old thing, you know, this thing? Oh, that's because of the Flowbee. Right into the camera. Look right into the camera.
That's some heavy shit. Maybe that is what happened. That's some insider trading stuff.
That's definitely insider trading. That's illegal, but it doesn't matter because he's the Clune dog and he can get away with it.
Flowbees did sell out, you know, that day or that week.
That's what I'm saying.
He came out and said that.
Clooney comes out and says something about the Flowbee that was on Buy It on TV in like 1980. Like, who has a Flowbee? I
was amazed to find out that Flowbee was still around.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Flowbees are still produced? No. People have that in a box next to their Chia Pet from like 1984. That's like, it's...
No, but they're still around. You can still buy new Flowbees.
Actually, I know where... I haven't been to them all, but like...
I know a guy. I know a guy. All right?
You have a Flowbee guy?
I got a Flowbee guy. Don't worry about it.
I mean, all right. Maybe just like text me his number and I'll say, hey, what's up? What's flowing?
That's the password.
That's the end.
What's flowing,
dude? What's flowing? And he texts back, your hair. And I'm like, yes, I'm in.
No, he texts back, be real.
You know, in malls, they have stores called As Seen on TV, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can go into like one of those stores and it's like everything that's on those stupid commercials that you can buy it in person.
Do you think that they're constantly sold out of Flowbee, though?
Now they are.
It's kind of what I'm thinking. Do you think the Flowbee is the hottest new product around?
It should be. I don't see anything else worthwhile out there to go out and purchase.
Do you think vintage Flowbees are the new secondary shoe market?
I'm gonna start. I mean, like, that's how you hook them. I mean, once you buy a Flowbee, you just need one Flowbee, right?
Well, it depends. Do you want a different one for your pubic hair? I mean, that's up to you.
I don't know. I don't think I want to stick my dick in a vacuum.
And do you think Clune Dog I mean, you don't stick your dick in it. You just let it trim your hair. I mean, do you think that was like the first thing that when they invented the Flowbee? They're like, how can we do? The Kellogg's guy was like, how can we do circumcisions really fast? We'll hook it up to a vacuum cleaner.
Just suck it off.
Yeah. Hook up these hedge clippers to a vacuum cleaner, and we can do like 30 circumcisions an hour, easy.
Someone's had to have stuck their dick in a Flowbee, right?
Whew.
Someone who owns a Flowbee has stuck their dick in it.
I don't know if you can I don't know, man. I hope not. But yeah, probably. I don't know how big the hole is, but
I don't know.
I have a feeling it's not that big, but it's got to be big enough to get some hair in there. So I don't know. There might be guys out there that can fuck the Flowbee.
I'm going to tweet at George Clooney to have him like get into like, oh man, all I do is watch VHS tapes. And then I'll be like...
Wait, you're banking on the fact that George Clooney still watches VHS tapes.
No, I'm banking on the fact that or the hope that George Clooney will tweet out something about VHS tapes for me. That way my VHS collection grows in value on the secondary market.
Well, I'm pretty sure VHS is only secondary or much lower. I don't think there's any primary VHS market anymore. I would never use the Flowbee. Too complicated.
I might look into it.
I guess I gotta sweep my hair off the floor after I'm done. So I don't know. Just a vacuum cleaner seems like it's a lot of work. Seems like a lot of work. Maybe I should hit up Dog, try to get some pointers, some Flowbee pointers, some investment pointers.
It might be worthwhile. Like, I mean, at least for my situation, because I wear hats all the time anyway.
Yeah.
I hate going out and getting haircuts anymore. I don't even care if I get a good haircut. Like, I got a quote unquote bad haircut last time I went out and got a haircut, but it didn't matter because I put on a hat. I don't see anyone.
Are you invested? So you're investing in the secondary haircut market?
Heavily. I'm investing in secondary haircuts.
It sounds like you know where you put your money.
Flowbees.
Dog was like, "Listen, this is what you need to invest in. You need to invest in Flowbees because I'm gonna blow that shit up. I had a conversation with him. I'm gonna blow that shit up. Invest in the Flowbee stock because it's a publicly traded company." And he's like, "Listen, if you want real money, fucking start a tequila company. It's easy."
Yeah.
He's like, "It's just easy. Just start a tequila company. Money."
You haven't done that yet? Go out and start.
I've tried. Yeah. I only have one bathtub, so it's kind of. I'm working on it. I'm working on some things. I have a laundry tub in the basement.
All right, so we need a bathtub guy first.
I need a bathtub guy.
Yeah. Then we start a tequila company.
So what I'm saying is, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I'm building this empire. I'll be rolling in Yeezys before we know it. I'm going to be just like living in the Yeezy millionaire life. So either you can be in or you can be out.
I can't wait to like go on social media someday and like first picture I see is you with 1,000 Yeezys behind you.
My Clooney Yeezys.
It's just your arms spread out with like the biggest grin and like it's like then I know you made it.
I'm wearing
proud of you.
My Yeezy Cloon Dogs. So I gotta go hit the bricks and like hustle this money, man. So
you gotta get on it. Get on the secondary.
What do you say we
market.
wrap this up?
Let's tie a bow on it.
Yeah, this has been quite a blast, man. This is what a ride.
It always is.
This has been the award-winning Thrustcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Cochran. Thrust off.